Today we'll discuss something about multitasking. Okay, in the previous classes, so we have learned something about multi-programming, mini-programming, so about jobs, process management, etc. Isn't it? Okay, so today, so we are going to learn about multitasking. So as I have told, multitask means more than one task. The capability of the machine or the computer to do more than one job or one task at a time is nothing but the multitasking. Okay, so it is nothing but finally it is a design. So computers will be designed in such a way that the user can perform many tasks over it. Okay, so as I have told, interleaved execution of multiple jobs, often referred to as tasks of same user. Okay, in a single user system. In a single user system means, so there will be one computer and one user, but the one user may work with multiple tasks in a single PC. Okay, so here treated differently from a multi-programming that refers to interleaved execution of multiple jobs in a multi-user system. Here every task is different, but every task is treated as separate, of course, but still with the help of memory and the operating system design, the OS will coordinate and control all this multitasking performance or all these multitasking activities. Computer systems used for multitasking are uniprocessor system, means having only one CPU. So in the computer system there will be only one single CPU will be there. Similarly, there are some computer systems where you can find multiple CPUs, multiple processors. Okay. Next one, multi-threading. Of course, the programming language like Java supports multi-threading. So similarly, the operating systems, all hi-fi operating systems support this multi-threading. This thread is nothing but a small software program or what you can segment. Okay, thread is basic unit of CPU utilization. Threads share a CPU in the same way as the processors do. How the processors will do or how the process will be executed with the help of CPU, the same way, so thread is going to be executed. For example, I will give, some of you have already learned C++ something, so little about C++ in your PU. Okay, or some student may have learned C or any other programming language. So if you have learned C or C++ little, so there you can see int main or void main something. Okay, void main or int main. So main is a function. Main is a function in which what all the statements you are going to provide, so those will be executed, or the execution will begin with main itself. That main is nothing but a thread. In C or C++ program, main is a thread. Similarly, there will be different threads. If you create or if you design, if you construct say user defined functions, automatically those will be again the another threads or sub threads. Okay, so all threads of a process also share the same set of operating system resources. If a process has many number of threads, as I have told, if a program has many number of functions, like GCD function is there, factorial function is there, and swapping function is there, total finding total is there, so some more than 10 functions are there in a program along with main. So all these threads of process also share the same set of operating system resources. Means whatever the operating system is there, like Windows 10, so Windows 10's all resources will be shared with these threads. Okay, next, all threads of a process inherit parent's address space and security parameters. So as I have told, void main or simply int main is the parent, what you can say, thread, parent thread. All other functions like GCD, swap, factorial, these functions are the child threads. Okay, so all threads of a process inherits Parents address. Inherits means, so we have inherited so many things from our parents, isn't it? We have inherited so many things from the parents. Similarly, these subthreads will be inherited the address space is memory address space from the parent thread, that is void main. So there will be a link. Always there will be a link between the main thread and the subthreads. Okay. Each thread of a process has its own program counter. So anyway, this particular topic, multi-threading, is a separate topic in Java. So in your syllabus, means not in this particular sem, most probably in the next year or in the final year. So you need to learn the Java programming language. So in that language, the multi-threading subject or the concept will be in detail. Okay. Each thread of process has its own program counter. Means if a program has or a process has 15 threads, all these 15 threads are having individual program counter. So program counter is used to keep track of the current or the present statements or instructions. Say you are executing, or the system is executing fourth line. So program counter is pointing to the fourth line. If the computer or the compiler is executing 15th line of one particular thread, say swap thread, then swap thread's program counter is pointing to the 15th line. So whatever the instruction of a thread is executing, program counter is pointing that particular line or instruction. On executing successfully that line, the program counter will be incremented. Suppose if it is at 15th, if there is no problem with 15th to execute, then automatically after executing that line, so program counter will be 16. 16 means what? So next line. So like that, the program counter will be varying from one value to another value. Its own register states and its own stack. So every thread will be having its own program counter, own register states, means general purpose registers will be there in order to speed up the operation, and its own stack. Okay, so it is difficult me to convince you with this particular stage. Okay, what do you mean by stack, registers, etc. Registers are small memory units which are not present in the RAM, of course. Stack is nothing but a data structure, so which stores all these function calls, variables, etc. one over another. Okay, so every programming, every function call will be stored on the stack. How you can store the books? So on the table, or what I can say cupboard, you are placing your books or textbooks one over another. So in order to say extract or retrieve a particular book, you need to retrieve the topmost things. The top books you have to remove, then you can go for the removal of the depth one. So like that, the stack is perfectly, it is last in first out method, last in first out, or first in last out. Okay, so that is one data structure or the concept or the mechanism or technique of operating the elements. Okay, that technique or the concept has been adopted in the multi-threading. Next, referred as mini process or lightweight process. So this multi-threading is generally used in modular programmings. Modular programming in the sense, when there is a large program has to be executed. If you write lengthy programs of thousands or more than 1,000 lines, so what we suggest is divide that program logically into small modules, depending upon their activity. So go for dividing, separate. Okay, if you separated some programs logically, those separated programs or divided programs are called modules. So those divided modules, what you can say, you can refer that one as mini process or lightweight process. The process is one, but one process can be subdivided into many threads. Those many threads are nothing but mini processes, of course. Next, multi-threading system will be like this. This is the address space, and here the address space is given for multiple threads. This is single threaded and it is multi-threaded. Okay, a single threaded process corresponds to a process of a traditional operating system, means in old operating system, reproduced with the permission from the book title distributed operating system. Means here this particular concept has been extracted from that one. Okay, it is reproduced, actually it's not our own. Okay, so at the first time this particular multi-threading diagram or the concept has been given in this distributed operating system book. Okay, so from that we have extracted this one. Okay, so for that one, for that reference, so we are going to explain these things here. Okay, next, concepts and design by Pradeep K. Sinha. So this is, he is the best author of C programming language. Okay, so for this also there is a fantastic book. Okay, in our library also you can go for and reference it. So that, so about this multi-threading system will be in detail. Okay, next one, multi-processing. After that, multitasking, multi-processing, multi-threading, multi-processing. System with two or more CPUs having ability to execute multiple processes concurrently. So just 5 minutes back, sorry 2 minutes back, I have told one thing. In a single computer system there may be more than one CPUs. It is not necessary, it is not recommended that, it is not compulsory that one system should have only one CPU. A system, computer system may have many CPUs. So here the system is computer system with two or more CPUs having ability to execute multiple processes concurrently. So this idea has been thought and implemented in order to reduce the waiting time. If there are n processors, if you go for any process management or CPU scheduling, if you go for any scheduling, as I have told in the previous class, shortest job first come first serve, or time sharing, or time slice method, round robin method, or priority based priority. So there one or another processes will be waiting for a while. So if there are n processes in a ready queue, then one or the another the processes will be waiting in the list. So in order to reduce that waiting rate drastically, there is a plan of multiple processors or multiple CPUs inclusion in the system. Okay, so what we'll do is it will execute the multiple processes concurrently. Say if there are 100 processes to be executed, these 100 processes will be executed concurrently, simultaneously, at the same. So how nice it is. So here no one process will wait for the completion of any other process. Okay, next, multiple CPUs are used to process either instructions from different and independent programs or different instructions from the same program simultaneously. Here multiple CPUs are used to process either instructions from different or independent programs or different instructions from the same program simultaneously. Because there are multiple CPUs, because there are more than one CPUs, the instruction may be from the same or different programs or different instruction from the same program. Means there will be multiple programs, of course. If there are multiple processes, means multiple programs should be there. All these CPUs, multiple CPUs are get ready to execute the instructions execute the instructions. That instruction may be from the same program which has been given to it, or it may be from the another program. It may be from there. So even though some processes are assigned to a particular CPU, say process 1 is assigned to CPU 1, process 2 is assigned to CPU 2, process 3 is assigned to CPU 3, like that. Even sometime, if the process 2 has been completed earlier, process 2 is completed earlier, then CPU 2 will be free, isn't it? CPU 2 will be free. So now the CPU 2 can be used to execute the instruction of process 3. Because it is free, no? So algorithm will be written or designed in such a way that all CPU should be have minimum idle time. Okay. Next, types of multiprocessing: tightly coupled, loosely coupled. Okay. So this particular the line or the information is very important. Is multiple CPUs are used to process either instructions from the different and independent programs, or different instructions from the same program simultaneously. Simultaneously means at the same time, parallelly, okay, concurrently, etc. Okay. Types of multiprocessing: tightly coupled, loosely coupled. Here in tightly coupled multiprocessing, single system wide primary memory shared by all processors. Means there will be, say, more than one CPU will be there in this tightly coupled, but there will be only one RAM, that is wide primary memory. The large primary memory will be there. That single large or wide primary memory is going to share with or shared by all the processors, say n number of processors. Say there will be 25 processors, CPUs are there in a single system. That is a large processing system or the computer, where not a single CPU, there will be 25 CPUs will be there. Okay, but for all those 15 CPUs, central processing unit or processors, there will be only one RAM, primary memory, that is wide primary memory. So if there is only one primary memory or RAM, that means all these 15 CPU must use that one only. So think that how the programming should be, because there is only one RAM. Without the RAM, without the primary memory, we cannot work with the CPU, isn't it? So all these 25 processors will be using the same primary memory in order to load the instructions and execute the program. So tightly coupled, it is called tightly coupled. Okay, so algorithm should be in a best manner. Okay. Second one, loosely coupled. Each processor has its own local memory. Here if there are 25 processors in the system, 25 processors or 25 CPUs, both are same, okay, both are same. If there are 25 CPUs, for each CPU there is a separate local memory for it. For CPU 1 there is a separate memory, CPU 2 there is a separate memory. There is no confliction whether the memory is available for this CPU or not, or okay, but there in case of, so what you can say, tightly coupled, there may be a problem whether the space, primary memory space is available for, say, 22nd CPU. But here, although here the particular CPUs like CPU 1 to CPU 25, all the CPUs or processors are having their own local memory, then there is no think of any accessing of what I can say memory from the common one. Anyway, every processor is having its own local memory. So here 50% of the confliction of sharing memory has been reduced. So, and it is very easy. Loosely coupled multiprocessing is very easy to handle, very easy to manage, but tightly coupled multiprocessing is difficult to manage. Okay, next. CPU, memory and IO processors of a computer system. So you can say this is main memory of, directly we are saying RAM, random access memory. It is CPU, so where ALU, CU are there, and it is IO processors. Again, IO processors are used to process input output operations. Input output operations. Okay, in order to work with input output operations, IO processors are going to use. So if you give the data to store, so IO processors will store that one in the main memory. If you want to retrieve or read the data or instruction from the memory, so automatically IO processors will help you to retrieve them from the what you can say memory. Okay, similarly CPU will receive some things from the IO processors directly, or it will retrieve some values or the data or instruction from the main memory. Okay, next it is multiprocessing system, as I have told. So CPU1 and CPU2, there will be two CPUs, IO processors separately, but main memory is single main memory. So what you can say is it is tightly coupled. It is tightly coupled multiprocessing, where multiple CPUs are there but single main memory is there. But all CPUs will be having separate what you can say IO units, input output units. Of course, as they are having separate IO units, they should have the separate IO processors. But only thing is, all these IO processors will share the same main memory. Okay, single wide main memory is there in order to perform multiprocessing. Next is about time sharing, whatever it means. Simultaneous interactive use of computer system by many users in such a way that each one feels that he or she is the sole user of the system. In one system, there will be simultaneous interactive of user of a computer system by many users. So you can see so many situations where we are using separately in our terminals, from the terminals, or separately from our terminals, in such a way that each one feels that he or she is the sole user of the system. Say for example, I will give, so you are observing or monitoring your result once it is announced, like it may be PU result in any website. So you will open the particular website in your mobile or say laptop or something which is connected to internet, and you will open that page and you will type your register number or seat number and class, of course, and you will say submit. So automatically the result will be obtained or result will be displayed on the page. So at that moment what you are going to think is, I am only the user who is browsing this particular site. But at the same time, thousands of users are using the same website. Thousands of users are there using the same website. But that single website will provide this information to interact for multiple or thousands of users. So that is possible with this time sharing. That is simultaneous interactive use of computer system by many users in such a way that each one feels that he or she is the sole user of the system. I am only a single user of this system. We will feel like that, but actually there will be multiple users. Okay, so we will feel that. So that is the what I can say feeling. So that will come in our mind, but in the technically or in the reality there will be many users. Okay, there will be many users, but with our terminal probably we may be the single person or single user. Okay, next, user terminals connected to the same computer simultaneously. User terminals connected to the same computer simultaneously means user terminals. So if I am having my terminal means my device, I will connect my device to that computer. My friend, another friend will connect his device to the computer. Like that, there will be 500 or plus users connected to a single computer. So that is also time sharing. Okay, next, uses multi-programming with special CPU scheduling algorithm. Say if we multiple people connected to one single computer with our device, so we cannot say all 500 users will do the same task. I may work with one program, the another person may work with another program, so one more may be working with another program. So simply ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ರು ಯಾರೊಬ್ಬರು ವರ್ಡನ್ನು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ಬೋದು. Sometimes I may using C or Java, so someone may use write and execute the Python programming. So everyone's task is different, which is connected to the main computer. So that is called multi-programming. Okay, next, all these programming means, so C language, C++ language working, Java working, Python working, Word working, all these things will be different programs for that important or central computer. Okay, short period during which the user process gets to use CPU is known as time slot or quantum. So in last class I have told one thing, CPU scheduling algorithm, that is time slice or round robin algorithm. So for example, there will be 5 processes with different CPU burst times. Means the first process will be completed, maximum time is say 50 millisecond. For the second process it is larger than that, so it has 100 milliseconds. The third one will be 150, fourth one will be say only 15 millisecond, fifth one will be 25 milliseconds. ಹೀಗೆ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್ಸಿಗೆ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಟೈಮಿಂಗ್ ಇದೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ಏನು ಟೋಟಲ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಷನ್ ಆಗಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸಿಕ್ಯೂಟ್ ಆಗಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಸೈಜಲ್ಲಿ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಇದೆ. ಆಲ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸಸ್ ಆರ್ ನಾಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ ಸೇಮ್ ಸೈಜ್, ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಸೈಜ್ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಟೈಮಿಂಗ್ ಇದೆ, ಅಂದರೆ ಅದು ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಗಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇಕಾಗುವಂಥ ಟೈಮ್, ದಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ CPU burst time. How much time is needed in order to complete the task, the process is CPU burst time. ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಇದೆ. ಬಟ್ ಸ್ಟಿಲ್ ರೌಂಡ್ ರಾಬಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸಸ್ಸಿಗೂ ಅಂದರೆ P1 to P5 ಎಲ್ಲದಕ್ಕೂ 5 or 10 milliseconds ಟೈಮ್ ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಫಸ್ಟ್ 10 milliseconds ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ 10 milliseconds ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಿ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ 10 milliseconds ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಿ ಥರ್ಡ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್, ಅಗೇನ್ 10 milliseconds ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಿ ಫೋರ್ತ್ ಒನ್, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ 10 milliseconds ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಿ ಫಾರ್ ದಿ fifth one. Once 50 milliseconds are over, again another 10 millisecond quantum or time slice will be given to the first one. So that is 20 milliseconds. If any process is having 20 or less than 20 milliseconds CPU burst time, that will be completed, that process will be completed in the second round. ಆ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ರೌಂಡಲ್ಲಿ ಅದು ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಗ್ಬೋದು, ಯಾಕೆಂದರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ 15 milliseconds 20 ಸಾಕಾಗ್ತದೆ ಈ ರೀತಿ. ಸೊ ಹೀಗೆ ಒಂದೊಂದೇ ರೌಂಡಲ್ಲಿ, ಪ್ರತಿ ರೌಂಡಲ್ಲೂ ಫಾರ್ ಈಚ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ರೌಂಡ್, ಸೊ ದೆರ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಟೈಮ್ ಸ್ಲೈಸ್ ಆರ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಸ್ಲಾಟ್ ಆರ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಮ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೈಮ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಗಿವನ್ ಟು ದಮ್. ಇಲ್ಲೂ ಹಾಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಯೂಸರ್ಸಿಗೂ ಹಾಗೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಇಫ್ ದೆರ್ ಆರ್ ಸಮ್ ರಿಕ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ಮಲ್ಟಿಪಲ್ ಯೂಸರ್ಸ್, ಫಾರ್ ಎವ್ರಿ ಯೂಸರ್ ದೆರ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಎ ಟೈಮ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಮ್. ಬಟ್ ನಮಗೆ ಆ ಟೈಮ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಮ್ ಯಾವುದರಲ್ಲಿ ಮಿಲಿಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋದಕ್ಕೆ ಜನರಲಿ ವಿಲ್ ನಾಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಎನಿ ಫೀಲಿಂಗ್ ದಟ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ವೇಟಿಂಗ್. ನಮ್ಗೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಫೀಲ್ ಅನಿಸೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ನಾವು ವೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ, ಯಾರ್ದು ಇನ್ನೊಬ್ಬರು ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತಾ ನಾವು ವೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ ಅನ್ನೋ ಫೀಲಿಂಗ್ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಲ್ ದೀಸ್ ಥಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಡನ್ ಆರ್ ಹ್ಯಾಪನ್ ಇನ್ milliseconds. We can measure, we can feel the second, ಬಟ್ milliseconds ಅನ್ನ 1 millisecondsಲ್ಲಿ ಆಗೋದು, 2 millisecondsಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದೋ ನಮ್ಮ ರಿಕ್ವೆಸ್ಟಿಗೆ 1 milliseconds ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸ್ ಬರ್ತದೆ, ಯಾರ್ದೋ ರಿಕ್ವೆಸ್ಟಿಗೆ 15 milliseconds ಏನು ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸ್ ಬರ್ತದೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ, ಸೊ ಬೋತ್ ವಿಲ್ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ದಿ ಸೇಮ್ ಫೀಲಿಂಗ್. ಭಾಳ ಫಾಸ್ಟಾಗಿ ನಂಗೆ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸ್ ಬಂತು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತೀವಿ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ 1 millisecond another is after 5 milliseconds, one more is after 10 milliseconds, like that. So 1, 10 ಎಲ್ಲ ಒಂದೇ ಅನಿಸ್ಬಿಡ್ತದೆ ನಮಗೆ. ಓಕೆ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್, CPU is taken away from a running process when the allotted time slice expires. ಸೊ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದಾಗೆ CPU is taken away from a running process, ಅಂದರೆ ರನ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್ಸನ್ನು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಅದರ ಕಾನ್ಸಂಟ್ರೇಷನ್ನ ತೆಗೀತದೆ ಯಾವಾಗ ಅಂದರೆ ವೆನ್ ದಿ ಅಲೋಟೆಡ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಸ್ಲೈಸ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೈರ್ಸ್. ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ಒನ್ನಿಗ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ರೌಂಡಲ್ಲಿ ಅನದರ್ 10 milliseconds ಕೊಡ್ತು, ಬಟ್ 10 milliseconds ಬೇಡ ನನಗೆ. ಇಫ್ ಎ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ 15 milliseconds ಟೈಮ್ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋದು ಅಂದರೆ ನಾವು 10 ಕೊಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ರೌಂಡಲ್ಲಿ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಗಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ರೌಂಡಲ್ಲಿ 10 milliseconds ಕೊಟ್ಟಾಗ ಆಫ್ಟರ್ 5 milliseconds ಅಂದರೆ ಓನ್ಲಿ 5 milliseconds ಸಾಕು. ಆ 5 millisecond ಆದ ಕೂಡಲೇ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಡ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ದೆನ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆದಾಗ ಆಟೋಮೆಟಿಕ್ಲಿ ಆನ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್, ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಗಿವನ್ ಟು ದಿ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ವೇಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ ಅದು, ಮತ್ತು 5 milliseconds ವೇಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಯ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆದ ಕೂಡ ಆಟೋಮೆಟಿಕ್ಲಿ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಜಾಬನ್ನು ತೊಗೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ಅಲ್ಲಿ 5 milliseconds ವೇಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಹೌ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಅಲ್ಗಾರಿದಮ್, ಹೌ ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾನಿಂಗ್ ನೋಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಆ 5 milliseconds ವೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು ನಮ್ಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಅಲ್ಗಾರಿದಮ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಆ 5 milliseconds ಉಳಿತು ಅಂದರೆ ಆಟೋಮೆಟಿಕ್ಲಿ ಅದನ್ನು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಇದು ಕೊಟ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ, 10 ಅಂತ ರೀಶೆಡ್ಯೂಲ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ, ರೀಕ್ವಾಂಟಮ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಟೈಮ್ ಸ್ಲೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ವೈ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಇನ್ ಆರ್ಡರ್ ಟು ಮೇಕ್ ದಿ CPU ಬ್ಯೂಸಿ, ಅಂದರೆ CPU ಎಲ್ಲೂ ಐಡಲ್ ಟೈಮಲ್ಲಿ ವೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬಾರ್ದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ. ಓಕೆ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ದಿ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಫಾರ್ ಎ ಟೈಮ್ ಶೇರಿಂಗ್. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿ, ಸೇಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದೇ ಟೈಪ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ರೆಡಿ ಜಾಬ್ ಇದೆ, ಜಾಬ್ ಈಸ್ ಅಲೋಕೇಟೆಡ್ ಟು CPU ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಿಕ್ಯೂಷನ್, ರನ್ನಿಂಗ್, ಜಾಬ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸಿಂಗ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಗುವಾಗ, ಸಮ್ಟೈಮ್ಸ್ ರನ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಆಗುವಾಗಲೇ ಓಕೆ ಅಲೋಟೆಡ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಸ್ಲೈಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಓವರ್. ನೋಡಿ, ಅಲೋಟೆಡ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಸ್ಲೈಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಓವರ್. ಸೊ ಟೈಮ್ ಸ್ಲೈಸ್ ಓವರ್ ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಇದು ರೆಡಿ ಸ್ಟೇಟಿಗೆ ಬರ್ತದೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಷನ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ರೌಂಡಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲ್ಲದು. ಸೊ in order to complete the particular process there may be more than one rounds. Okay, in some rounds some of the process will be completed and hence they will be removed from the memory ಇಂದ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತದೆ. ಥರ್ಡ್ ರೌಂಡಲ್ಲಿ ಅಥವಾ ಫೋರ್ತ್ ರೌಂಡಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋದಾಗ ನಮಗೆ 5 ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್ ಕಾಣೋದಿಲ್ಲ, 1 or 2 ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸಸ್ ಮಾತ್ರ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತದೆ ರನ್ ಆಗೋದು. ಉಳಿದಿದ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ಎಲ್ಲೋಯ್ತು ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಉಳಿದಿದ್ದೆಲ್ಲ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಟ್ಟಿದೆ, ಸೊ ಮೆಮರಿದಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಯಾವ್ಯಾವ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆಯೋ ಅದು ಯಾವುದು ಮೆಮರಿದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, ಅದು ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ ಆಪ್ಟೇನ್ ಆಗಿರ್ತದೆ. ಓಕೆ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಅಡ್ವಾಂಟೇಜಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಶೇರಿಂಗ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್. ಇಟ್ ರೆಡ್ಯೂಸಸ್ ದಿ CPU ಐಡಲ್ ಟೈಮ್. ಸೊ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ, ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಹೇಳಿದೆ. ಇನ್ ದಿ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ರೌಂಡ್ ಇವನ್ ದಿ 10 millisecond quantum or time slice or time slot is given to the what I can say the process 1 ಗೆ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ರೌಂಡಲ್ಲೂ ಅಗೇನ್ 10 milliseconds ಏನು ಟೈಮ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಮ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟರು ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಓನ್ಲಿ 5 milliseconds ಮಾತ್ರ ಬೇಕಾಗಿತ್ತು ಅಂದಾಗ 5 milliseconds ಆದ ಕೂಡಲೇ ಆಟೋಮೆಟಿಕಲಿ ಅದೇನು ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ, ಅನದರ್ 5 milliseconds ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ತೊಗೊಳ್ಳೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಅನದರ್ 5 millisecond ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಗಿವನ್ ಟು ದಿ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್, ಅಂದರೆ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್ಸಿಗೆ ಕೊಡ್ತದೆ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್ಸಿಗೆ 15 ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಅಗೇನ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್ಸಿಗೂ 10 ಟೈಮ್ ಸ್ಲೈಸೇ ಇದೆ, ಬಟ್ ಅದನ್ನು ರೀಶೆಡ್ಯೂಲ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಡ್ತದೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಇನ್ ದಿ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ ರೌಂಡ್ ದಿ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಂಪ್ಲೀಟೆಡ್ and the remaining time will be calculated and again re-quantum will be made to the algorithm re-quantum ಮಾಡಿ ಮತ್ತೆ 10 ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ. For the second process say full 10 millisecond is used. Third process ಗೆ only 8 milliseconds ಸಾಕು to complete, only 8 milliseconds to complete. So 8 milliseconds ಅನ್ನು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತದೆ. ಅಗೇನ್ 2 milliseconds ಉಳಿತು, ಅಗೇನ್ 2 milliseconds ಅನ್ನು ವೇಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ, CPU ರೆಸ್ಟ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಇಟ್ ವಿಲ್ ಅಗೇನ್ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಓವರ್ ದಟ್ ಒನ್ ಟು ದಿ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್. ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮತ್ತೆ 10 milliseconds ಕ್ವಾಂಟಮ್ ಆಗ್ತಾವೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಈ ರೀತಿ. ಓಕೆ, ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ಸ್ ಅಡ್ವಾಂಟೇಜ್ ಆಫ್ ಕ್ವಿಕ್ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸ್ ಟೈಮ್. ಅಫ್ಕೋರ್ಸ್ ಇರಲೇಬೇಕು. ಪ್ರೊವೈಡ್ಸ್ ಅಡ್ವಾಂಟೇಜಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಕ್ವಿಕ್ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸ್ ಟೈಮ್. ಎಲ್ಲ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಈಗ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸ್ ಏನಾಯ್ತದೆ, ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಸಬ್ಮಿಟ್ ಆದ ಕೂಡಲೇ ವೆನ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಲೋಡೆಡ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ದಿ ಮೆಮರಿ, ಸೊ ಆಟೋಮೆಟಿಕಲಿ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸ್ ಬಂದುಬಿಡ್ತದೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸ್ ಎಸ್ ಇದು ಎಕ್ಸಿಕ್ಯೂಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅನ್ನೋದು ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸ್ ಬರ್ತದೆ. So most of the times in our computer or mobiles, okay, sometimes we are going to submit job. ನಾವು ಜಾಬನ್ನು ಸಬ್ಮಿಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಅಥವಾ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮನ್ನು ಓಪನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ದಿ ಮೂಮೆಂಟ್ ಅದು ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಾಲ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಟೇಕ್ ಸಮ್ ಫ್ಯೂ ಸೆಕೆಂಡ್ಸ್, ಆಮೇಲೆ ಇದು ಡೌನ್ಲೋಡ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಹಾಗೆ ಹೀಗೆ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಸೊ ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ನಥಿಂಗ್ ಬಟ್ ರೆಸ್ಪಾನ್ಸ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಲೇಟ್ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ನಾವು ಡಬಲ್ ಕ್ಲಿಕ್ ಮಾಡಿದ ತಕ್ಷಣ ಓಪನ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಥವಾ ಅದು ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಾಲ್ ಆಗ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. sometimes we have to wait for a minute still. So that is nothing but response time is in terms of minutes or seconds or milliseconds. Next, offers good computing facility to small users. Small users ಅಂದ್ರೆ ನೋಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಅಂತಲ್ಲ. Small users are the users who generally work with small applications or small programs. ಸಣ್ಣ ಪ್ರೊಸೆಸರ್ನ ಮಾಡೋರು, ದೊಡ್ಡದಲ್ಲ ಲೆಂದಿ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಕಾಂಪ್ಲೆಕ್ಸ್ ಜಾಬ್ ಮಾಡೋರು ಅಲ್ಲ ಅವರು. ಈಗ ಸಿಂಪಲ್ ಏನೋ ವರ್ಕ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡೋರು ಅವರಿಗೆ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಯೂಸರ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಸೊ ದಿಸ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಶೇರಿಂಗ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಆಫರ್ಸ್ ಗುಡ್ ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟಿಂಗ್ ಫೆಸಿಲಿಟಿ ಟು ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಯೂಸರ್ಸ್. ಈಗ ನಾನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ನಲ್ಲ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ರಿಸಲ್ಟನ್ನು ನೋಡ್ತೀರಾ ವೆಬ್ಸೈಟಲ್ಲಿ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ರಿಸಲ್ಟ್ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ನೋಡ್ತೀರಾ, ನೀವು ಮತ್ತೇನು ನೋಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ರಿಸಲ್ಟಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ರಿಜಿಸ್ಟರ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಟೈಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ನೋಡಿ ಅದನ್ನು ಪ್ರಿಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ. ಸೊ ಯು ಬಿಕಮ್ ಆಟೋಮೆಟಿಕಲಿ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಯೂಸರ್. ಅಂದರೆ ಅದೊಂದು ಸಣ್ಣ ವರ್ಕ್ ಬಿಟ್ಟರೆ, ಬೇರೆ ಪೋರ್ಷನ್ ಬಿಟ್ಟರೆ ಬೇರೆ ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ ನೀವು. ಸೊ ಆಟೋಮೆಟಿಕ್ಲಿ ಯು ಆರ್ ನೋನ್ ಆ್ಯಸ್ small user. I hope this is enough today. This is enough. Okay, so these are the things we have covered today, from the multitasking, multi-threading system, multiprocessing, CPU, memory and IO processors of a computer system. Okay, next here multiprocessing system with CPUs, multiple CPUs, of course. So here I need to explain one more thing. It has not given here. If loosely coupled multiprocessing system is there, then for each CPU there will be separate memory. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮೇನ್ ಮೆಮರಿ ಅಂತ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಇದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತದೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಸಪ್ರೇಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಬರ್ತದೆ. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಮೇನ್ ಮೆಮರಿ, CPU 2ಗೆ ಒಂದು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಮೇನ್ ಮೆಮರಿ ಬರ್ತದೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಯಾವುದರಲ್ಲಿ ಲೂಸ್ಲಿ ಕಪಲ್ಡಲ್ಲಿ ಈಚ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಎವ್ರಿ CPU ವಿಲ್ ಬಿ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಇಂಡಿವಿಜುವಲ್ ಲೋಕಲ್ ಮೆಮರಿ. ಬಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಟೈಟ್ಲಿ ಕಪಲ್ಡ್ ಇದು, ಅದಕ್ಕಾಗಿ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಲಾರ್ಜ್ ಮೇನ್ ಮೆಮರಿ ಇದೆ. ಇಷ್ಟು ದೊಡ್ಡ ಲಾರ್ಜ್ ಮೆಮರಿ ಅದಕ್ಕಿರೋದಿಲ್ಲ, ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಮೆಮರಿ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಬಟ್ ಒಂದು CPU ವರ್ಕ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಮೆಮರಿ ಬೇಕು ಆ ಮೆಮರಿಯನ್ನು ಕೊಟ್ಟಿರ್ತಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಫೈನ್. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಶೇರಿಂಗ್. ಓಕೆ, ಡಯಾಗ್ರಾಮ್ ಫಾರ್ ಇಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಅಡ್ವಾಂಟೇಜಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಶೇರಿಂಗ್. ಐ ಥಿಂಕ್ ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಇನಫ್. ಓಕೆ, ಇನ್ ದಿ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಮೆಮರಿ ಮ್ಯಾನೇಜ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ತಗೊಳ್ಳೋಣ. ಓಕೆ, ಥ್ಯಾಂಕ್ ಯು.